Hello and welcome back to the channel where we are making a video game from scratch using Love2d and Lua. Now before I forget, we've got to pull in our changes from yesterday. Oh crap, you know what? Let's see, this is going to be a mess because I added... Let's see what we changed here. Oh, nothing. Okay. So we do have to take out this boulder still, but what I'll do is I've got to restore this so that we can pull a change I did on my laptop. All it was taking out this duplicate image that was causing us issues. So let's go take out the double boulder we've got over here. Yeah, right there. Okay, so we're trying to get back our collision detection for our bed so that we can make a bed in the inn so that we can actually use the inn to recover some hearts. So we don't have collision detection here on 1018, so let's get that fixed real quick. Okay, so we should have this thing called, what, player to map object. I think we have this, yeah. Oh, old player to map object collision detection. Oh, not in the scene, not in the scene. We're looking for it in our player walk state. Right here. Okay. I don't know if we had this off. Crap. I don't know if we had this off for a reason. But this is the logic for collidable map objects versus our player, which is what we need collision for right here. So it looks like we've got that back. So the idea is like we can walk into bed and you can kind of just like sleep in there, but also you can't. You know, you got to walk in at the right angle to kind of tuck yourself into bed there. So it's kind of like a forced angle that we get. So we have to put this in the inn and then add, you know, we got to add some abilities to interact and spend coins, because right now we can't spend coins even though they're in the game. So we need to add the bed to the inn. Let's get what scene that is so we can spawn in there and test it. So it's up here, and this is at least just like the placeholder spot for it. I'll probably move it, but the inn is down here. Let's look at this. So it's so empty right now. It's 211. So you can talk to him and he'll say it costs 5 gems a night, but it should be coins, and we can't even spend it, and there's no bed. So we need a bed. Let's yeah, so how we go about this, you know, there's a couple different, what was it, 211? So let's go spawn there at 211 so that we don't have to walk over there every time. And we'll just say that this is spawning at 211. Okay, now we need to draw. We can look at our tiled map and kind of see that we've got Mage's Castle is down here. Okay, so let's look at the order layer, right? So ground level is the ground. In this case, it'll be like the wood of the cabin. Above ground is just the bottom of the bed and the headboard, and then on the top level tile is the bed, that the sheets that go on top of the player. So we're looking for these two. to draw in our in. So where did we draw this? Right there. Looks like we've got the 2 there. And we kind of split it up, you know, it's kind of like a half. You know, it's not a true 16 by 16 tile, so like if you look at it down there, it's kind of, yeah, this part's at the bottom. So we might, I don't know exactly. We'll see what it looks like in the 211. But first what we have to do is draw it in that scene. So we'll have to find it, which is, I'm guessing it's right here. 211, yeah, 211 is right here. So this is where our scene currently is, our in. Come on, man. Okay. So let's add the bed. I mean, I kind of want to do a couple of beds, right? So you can kind of choose whichever one. It doesn't really matter. But I think it'd be cool to have multiple beds. As a, you know, it's going to be like a hostel almost. With a bunch of beds. So I think that's what I want. And then we can do like little side tables and stuff too. I don't know. I kind of like it like that. I mean, maybe any more is kind of ridiculous, right? But maybe we can come up with like a little fireplace or like some table. I don't know. Some kind of something. So that's in the above ground. Then in our top level tile, we will put the bed sheet, and that will make our player walk underneath it. Now, the bad thing about this is when we draw the bed here on this above ground level layer, it is not a collidable map tile ID, so we'll be able to walk all over it. So this is by far the worst part about the way we currently have beds, you know, because we kind of have to put collidable map objects in such a way that it appears right with the bed. So we might, you know, we might try to declare a function that can take in the quadrants of where the bed is, and then it just deduces where to insert collidable map objects so that we get the proper collision where we can kind of walk and get tucked into bed. So that would be nice if we can kind of turn that into a function. But for now, let's just see it. Export it as a global map. We forgot about the in, man. We forgot that this is a thing needed. So hopefully we can get it done. So look, right now we've got, what up, Leaf? Yo, it's going good. We're, you know, we've got a lot to do, but we're working on it. Yeah. So basically, yeah, you know, it doesn't look good where you can walk through the bed like this. So the rendering's working, but we need the collidable map objects so that we can't walk through the bed. So if we take a look at how we're doing that right now, it's right here. Okay, we've got this. We've got these three. So I guess ideally we'd want a function that takes in the row and column of a scene. You know, so the parameters would be a row and column for the scene. And then also secondary parameters for what the X and Y, or where to insert the bed objects. So this is like the headboard giving us collision with the headboard, giving us left collision so that it doesn't, you know, prevent us from, or so it prevents us from walking, you know. It's hard to say because what tile size, that would be the beginning of the second tile, second column from the left, 26. Where did the 26 come from? I think I just magic numbered it in there. So ideally we want to define this in terms of the tile size in terms of the height that the bed is supposedly at. Okay, so I guess my question is, do we have a field on collidable map objects that we can turn them into renders so that we can see where they actually are? We do. We can just turn on renders for the collidable map objects, which is nice. Okay, so let's go back. I think what we'll do, well, okay, no. What we'll do is, for right now, we'll just insert these into the in. And the in is at, what, 211? So we'll change, yeah, we'll change this to a 2. And 11, okay. Oh, and you know what? Yeah, we need these two changed too. Okay. So let's see this, and now we should be, this should be the top left bed, right? We should see it. Yeah, so that's what the current collision looks. Yo, what up, Sasquatch? How's it going, man? That's what the current collision looks like. Now, this is, yeah, this is bad. Because the idea here is, if we got rid of this leftward collision, we would hit the wall here, right? We would hit the wall here. But if you look at, like, it's like 1 pixel coming in from the wall. So it's basically so that we're perfectly tucked in here when we face down. So it's almost like, you know, we would need a left and right blockage for the bed. And also the bottom one's down. The bottom one is wrong too for the because we had a chest beneath it. So okay, well, the good news is I think we do collision with our player movement now based on not just the end point where we end up over the next delta time, but we parse it out into steps, or we break it out into steps. So if we shrink these hitboxes, they should still work. So we will probably need a special function for either a left bed or a right bed. This is getting kind of weird though. Yeah, I mean, I don't know of a better way. I mean, we could just have one bed in here. I don't know. I kind of like that you can kind of pick any bed. So I guess the idea, you know, we're going to talk to them. He's going to say it costs 5 gems or something. And then I think, or, you know, 5 coins. Then I think when you walk into a bed, maybe you try to interact with it while you're asleep in it, or, you know, face down in it. And then it'll say rest for 5 coins, and it'll give us the dialogue box. And then it'll deduct your coins. It'll change you to a close your eye sprite, and then fade in and fade out, right? Kind of like the rock salt bath you can get in Breath of the Wild. You just give them some stuff and then you rest and get stronger. You don't get any yellow hearts, but yeah. So, you know, we could, yeah, just the fact that we can't walk under this bed is a little weird. So let's get the bottom one fixed. And then let's define the Y in terms of a tile ID, right? Or a tile row. So let's start here with the first one. First one is going to be top, which is fine other than the fact that we need this 26 to be a tile size. You know, we're gonna, for right now, it looks so stupid to do this, right? Where we're gonna say tile size times 1 minus tile size plus 26. But that basically will make it so that if we just change this 1 to however many rows we want, and then it should be scootable down to the next bed. So if this is a tile size, well, and you know what, this is the 26, you know, we want, this would be a tile size of 3, right? Because this is, the bed is on the 3rd row. So we'd want to be able to say tile size times 3 minus whatever it is to get that 26. So like, let me see here. So we've got what? Right now, a row of 3 is equal to 26 pixels down, which is equal to a tile size plus 10. But we really want to define it in terms of that 3. So if we take the 3rd tile, we would have to subtract what, 2 times 2 tile size plus 10? So you take your current tile size, you subtract 2 tile size plus 10, so it would just be a this would be a plus 16, so if we get rid of that times a 1, we would say minus a 16 plus 10, so it would be a minus 6, tile size minus 6. Okay, so let's try this where we say tile size times 3, that'll be the 3rd row, and then we'll do a minus 6 and see if that is the correct spot for the Y position of our bed. No, we need to subtract a whole tile size, so it is tile size times 3. We do need to subtract the tile size for the 1 offset. Right, because the first tile is at 0, not at 16. There we go. Okay, so the idea here is like now that this is like a, you know, defined in terms of a row of a bed. So this is on row 3. So this is a 4, 5. Let me see. If this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6. So we should be able to, for example, try to do this 3 times a 6. And if that's in the right spot, then this formula is okay. Yeah, nice. Okay, so we've got a formula for the top of the headboard for the bed, right? Which is a good start. So we can just pass in whatever row it is, and then we can kind of do that. So that's good. This is going to be what, top? Okay, let's do the next one. This looks right, other than the tile being so tall. So I think as long as, you know, and this is determined in terms of the row, so that's good. But the width and the height can be halved. So let's see. Oh, see, look. See, then the bed renders over our head, which is probably the reason why we had to make it a little bit longer than expected. Because we can't have the bed going over our head. We don't have a fancy Z order draw layer in our game, which, you know, ideally what we can do is like, you know, say before we render the top level tile things, or like we check that Z order, and if our Y position is greater than another Y position, we'd render after it. But we don't have that. I don't know if we want to do that. trying to think of other scenarios where this is really important. For the most part, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of a unique case. Yeah, I guess we can put a pin in it, and if it comes down to where we have this issue again, then maybe we split up our character render into a render order layer based on Z index, or based on its Y position, right? So if it's beneath it, it should be in front of it. Whatever, yeah. See, without that left wall, if you walk into the bed, you're kind of crooked. Which isn't a big deal, but it doesn't line up nice. Let's give us 2 pixels. Let's give us 2 pixels shorter on the height here. Let's see. 2 pixels bigger, actually. Because we don't want our head to be under the sheets down here. Yeah, we need another one. Another one. There we go. Okay. Yeah, we could... Yeah, we can shift the Y just by, or the width by 1 because our nose here. The very first pixel of our side profile doesn't have a valid pixel there. It's just transparent, so technically it would be colliding, but our nose wouldn't look like it is. So now that is shifted by the nose. That's looking good. Cool. Okay. Now let's do the third left side, right? When this one's fine. This one's fine for left beds because a left bed is like pushed up against the wall, and it basically is just 1 pixel of overlap. It doesn't, it doesn't really matter that that's so far off. Okay. So if this is like left bed, we just want to make sure that the things are defined in terms of the tile size, right? So this is the left wall. It has a Y of 26, which is not right. So it should be this this tile size times 3 minus 6. Is that right? No. Oh, subtract a tile size. That's a little off. Where's the... Yeah, not the minus 6. Uh-oh. Oh, man. Why did we get this issue, man? We've had this issue in the past. What is going on there? Why can't we walk down into there? Yeah, this is not right. Yeah, this is not right. Because look at how we shift up. We shift up. This sucks. Because look, our Y position is not changing, but our animation is shifting us a whole pixel down. See how it's not doing that here. If we walk down here, our bun stays at the same height. So why is it that when we do it here... Oh my god, is this... See, it does it here too. Oh, not good. Why does it do this? Yeah, see, why does it do this? It doesn't change our Y position. Oh man, why does that happen? I don't know. I mean, I guess we just need to look through our collidable map object, Y downwards collision, and just make sure it's the same as this one. Because it should not be doing that. It drives me crazy that it's doing that. Going idle. Well, it's like it goes idle here too. Like idle right now is just if you don't have any input, it goes idle. So it's like he's technically idle there until I start walking again. So I don't think it's in the idle state. I feel like it's got to be in the downward collision for collidable map objects. Which, to be honest, all of our collision stuff is kind of jacked up and janky. Just because of the faux 3D thing we're trying to pull off, and then we don't have any global functions for it. We kind of just have it like, I don't know. It's weird. Yeah, that is so, it's so weird. Yeah, he is going in idle. He's always going to be idle if no inputs are held. But he shouldn't change his rendering like that. It's so weird. The only thing I could think of... Well, no... I feel like even if the bottom collision was jacked up, it would make sense if he didn't revert back to the original position once you let go, but he does revert back down to the flush position, so... I'm not sure what would fix this. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. We have this thing called collidable map objects. It's a class. And we... Oh, and you know what? Yeah, we don't have any methods on here, so it looks like we are doing the collision based on the player or something. So let's go try to find that again. Player to map objects. Right, so we have this player bottom collides. Okay, so we have a global-ish function on the player. We have the method on the player here for collides. Kept inching down. It's like, yeah, anytime we let go of an input, he got back to his correct Y location, even though his Y location was not being changed. Which doesn't make much sense to me. Now this is... Oh, let's see. The player Y for a bottom collide, we set it to be the object's Y that we collided with minus a player height, which should be flush to the top of it. But then we set our player Y... What the heck? Yeah, I don't know why would we be moving the player based on our walk speed here? We just want to reset our position. Yeah, maybe that was what was screwing it up. Okay. Okay, well, that looks right. So for some reason, yeah, I don't know. For some reason we were modifying our player's walking position after we reset its position, which is just not right at all. So Okay, at least that was a decent, easy fix. Let's go... Let's go to where... Yeah, let's go back here. Okay. So if we turn these all on, now they are defined in terms of the scene we need to add it on. That looks right. Okay. That looks right. Okay. So let's try to turn this into a function where we can say at 211, give us one at 1. Actually, it would be a row. Yeah, we'd... Let's do it here. Let's say... Gosh, I don't know. I don't really have any conventions on, like, put functions one place or the other. But let's say this. Do we have any functions in here? We don't really define any functions here in the map declaration. So I guess it, I don't know, it doesn't really matter where we do it. I don't know. Let's just do it. We'll say there's a function and it is called insert bed, and it takes in a map row, map column, and it takes in also a option if it's like a left bed or right bed, and then it takes in an X and a Y for where the bed goes. So this would be a scene row, how many down, and then a scene column, which is how many over. And if we define it like this, and we can just say it needs to do 3 things, right? It needs to insert, and this is just if the option is equal to a left bed. Do we want to insert left bed logic? We'll do right bed also. This is assuming that the bed is pushed up against the wall. Yeah, because we can't make the player stop nicely perfectly in the center unless we make the bed like one entrance only, but that the way you do that is push it up against the wall. I think I'm okay with just putting beds up against the wall. I think that's okay. So let's say, you know, every 2 in here needs to actually be this map row parameter. We screwed that up, didn't we? Okay, now scene row options left. Okay, so now for the X and Y, when we go to insert that into the collidable map objects table, the X is going to be the column. See, why did we do this? X over Y down. Okay, no, that's right. So this first one, oh shoot. Because see how the bottom, is this the bottom? I think the last one is the bottom, is that right? Because we have to define the X based on the column. Uh-oh, what the heck? What? Okay, we're also adding right here. We just don't want to do this just yet. Okay. Okay, that's not the bottom. There we go. Okay, we just wanted to find the bottom Actually, we want to define this one. The one with the 0 in there. I guess, and you know what? I guess this is okay for the left option, because the 0 means it's just flush left, and it's got a width of the correct tile size. Oh, it's got a width of 17. Okay. This is only because it's the left option. So let's make sure this is X is fine. Yeah, X is fine. Okay. So for this one, it would be a tile size times... It'd be times the column minus tile size, right? So we would say scene column, and we multiply, then subtract 1 tile size, and then this one would be the also the same column times tile size minus a tile size. Okay, so that's our X. Now we need our Y. And our Y in the top case would be, see this times 3, so that would be a times scene row. And then this one, this times 3 is also the scene row. And this 3 is the scene row. Okay. So let's try this. What is this? What? Holy crap. XY option. Oh no. Option's only on this function. So it's map and then an X and then a Y width and height. So it's X, then a Y, then a width, then a height. Okay. Why, hold on, why do we do this? Tile size divided by map row. That's not right. Okay. Let's see. So we took out, because if we run the game now, we don't see any of the collidable map objects, and they're in fact not there. But if we run this insert bed, let's try to do that, and we say let us run this insert bed, and we will give it 211 as well as 2 for the column and 3 for the row, and then an option of left because it's on the left side, and then actually, yeah, it goes left, then 2, 3. Okay, so now we're running this function. So I'm hoping that this puts those 3 collidable map objects there and that we see our 3 for the bed here. Almost. Almost. Everything's off by 1 on the Y. And the... okay. Let's fix the Y first. Everything is 1 Y taller than it should be, which means X and Y. Let's not subtract the tile size then on the Y. Is that right? Yeah. Shit. That's the X. This is the Y. This is the left one. Oh my goodness. So yeah, this is 1 too high. It needs to be down 16. So when we go to do the Y, which is right here, it needs to be just not minus tile size. Okay, so it's just our bottom bed that's jacked up. Our bottom bed's really jacked up. And that should be this one. So we're going to say it is a tile size. Why is it so jacked up? That's still wrong. Headboard is still over to the left, one too many, so let's just fix that. Now, wow, we screwed that up. Why is it so far over? The X on the headboard is 2 tiles off, and we're saying the X is going to be our column times tile size. So if we give it a scene column of 1, we multiply it by a tile size, which would give us 16. So it makes sense it would be off by 1, but it's still off by 1 when we do this. Yeah, it's still 1 to the right. So it's a scene column times, so we give it 2, like being on the second column, right? 2 times 16 would be 32. 32 would be the right side of us where it currently is, but we're subtracting this tile size. That's what I don't get. And then the height is technically right. Oh, wait a second. This is 4... Oh, yeah. The headboard's only 4 pixels tall. Why... Why is it off, man? Why is it off? Because if we look at the X here, we just say it's a tile size. Because we want it to be at the start. So if we give it a X of 2, which, 2 needs to be equal to 16. And right now, if we give it 2, we say 2 times 32, which is, or 2 times 16 is 32 minus the tile size, which is our 16. So that should be right. So why is that not right? Why? Column, scene column, scene column. We say here, we say insert a bed at the second quadrant, 3 down. Yeah. 2 over 3 down. Because the quadrant we're giving is right here, right where the bed is. So it's like 1, 2 over, 1, 2, 3 down. It's just off, man. Okay. Well, that should be right, man. That should be right. Times tile size minus tile size should be right. Because, like, it's just stupid to be like, oh, times tile or minus another tile size. Like, what the hell? Because that puts it in the right spot, but it just doesn't make any sense on the code. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Is the X or Y right on the third bottom one? No, it is way off. See, and how did this one get so far off? What the fuck? Yeah, I want to fix this. I just don't get why tile size times 3 is where it is. Because if we look at what it used to be this tile size. That's it. Tile size meaning the second column. 16 starts at 16, which is the second column. So why is it that when we pass in the third argument here to our collidable map objects, maybe we got these ones backed up. A row, column, X and a Y, X and a Y, X and a Y. Oh, we give it... Oh, shit. We do the tile size conversion here, so we just give it the quadrant here. Okay. So we did this jacked up, because we should just give it the quadrant, which in this case is just the scene column. Oh my... Yeah. Well, X... Yeah, X would be the column, yeah. Okay. So we should be able to just give the column and then just give the row. Oh, see, we can't do this. Oh. Well, no, we can't. We should be able to give it... No, we can't, because if we look at... Well, how are we doing it here? We were giving these numbers. So I guess in the interpreter, it kind of evaluates the argument first, and then it passes it through, or how would this work? Because if we look at our collidable map objects, the X and Y we take, if we give it a value, it calculates it. Yeah, it does the times and minus tile size here. So, but when we give it an offset like that, like a -6 or something, how is it giving us the right? I don't know. I don't know. Let's just try to pass in the scene row. Scene column. Let's just try this. Probably going to be so jacked up. Yeah. Fuck, dude. Why is it different? This is so weird. Because it's like we're passing in the argument arithmetic here, right? And that was working fine. Even though underneath the hood, this is really taking this as an X quadrant and then calculating that. Because X is like the pixels of where X goes, but you do it based on giving it the quadrant because it calculates it here. Because yeah, this X and Y is a pixel number of where it goes. Okay, let me just try something here. We'll just say that every second and third argument, or third and fourth argument, is just a 1, 1. And we'll see if it puts it at 0, 0. 0, 0 of the quadrant. Yeah. But then if we were to say that this one gets pushed over by 20 pixels, that arithmetic shouldn't work. Like, we shouldn't be able to scoot. Yeah, see, we can't scoot it by 20 because now it thinks it's on the 20th row. Because if we give it like 2, it'll think it's on the 3rd row. Well, see, why did that kind of work? We can scoot it by 2 but not 20? No, we can't. How can we do this? Because if we just pass it 2, does it give us the second column? It does not. Okay, so it does take in the pixels. This is so weird. I do not get how this is working, because if we look at this, you know, first two arguments are the row and column. And that's what we're doing with the map row, map column. Oh. Row and column. Okay. So I guess I don't get why. Okay. Row and column. This is a little redundant, right? Like we don't give an X and Y. Okay. So we're just kind of doing this wrong. Like this map row and column is the two arguments we need, and these two values should be nil so that we can calculate the right X position. This is just a little weird, right? Because let's see. Okay, I don't see the objects at all. We are still giving a map column of 211. See it? Okay, that should be the scene row scene call. Okay. Yeah. It's still off, but okay, so I guess the question is here, we can either give it, yeah, this is just so weird. If we look at this, if we don't give it a row, it's it doesn't fucking do anything with the row. It does. Well, I guess the only thing it does is it calculates the X and Y, right? So it's like if we don't pass it a row and column, it can't calculate the X and Y. Okay, I don't like this. I don't like how we did this. Because it's like X and Y shouldn't even be a freaking parameter here if we're just going to calculate it. But then again, if we wanted to shift it, its X and Y after giving it the row, we don't have a way of doing that. You know, like this should be X offset, and then we calculate the X, and then we update the X or Y based on the X offset. That way we can pass in values that actually tweak the X and Y. Because if we just give it a different value here, then we set it. Yeah, so it kind of just takes, you know, if it has an X or Y, then that's what its X and Y is, and if it doesn't, it calculates it based on the row and column. So it's just so weird how we did that. But we use collidable map objects for a couple of different things, and that's how we've been spawning it. So I feel like if we go and try to change it now, it'll probably break a lot of other things. Because let's see, collidable map objects. For example, see, we have a row, or we have a map row and column. This is weird. Because why does it need to know the row and column of the map? Bro, this is not right. Because here, you know, we're saying that like the global map row and column has like, say, 10 and 19, for example. But then we're putting the X position based on the global map position when it should be just based on the scene position. So it's like this, oops. Basically, we're not even using this. We're not even using this because under the hood, when it gets to the X and Y parameter, it asks if it's a valid value, and it is, and then it negates the no, then it uses the row and column, which we passed right here. Yeah, because then it uses the column and row, which are the first two parameters. But these are the wrong. What the fuck, dude? What the hell is this even? 1019? What is even here? No, who made this game? Wow, all this to get, we could have just hard-coded the beds and been done by now. See, because like what we do here, see how here we're not giving it. We're actually just giving it a row X and Y. So it's defaulting. It doesn't need an X and Y because it has the coordinates for the scene. So that makes sense. It's just that we don't have a way to offset this because ideally we can say, yeah, go at 8.6 but shift that up a couple pixels or something. So I'm just worried that, do we have any other collidable map objects that use the X and Y parameters? Because if we go and change that to an X offset, Y offset, I just don't want it screwing up all this other stuff. See, like right here, I don't know what the hell this is supposed to be. 1019. What is on 1019? Is like way out of. That's like in the mage. That's like in the mage. Mage's castle somewhere over there. Let me just see what's over there. Because I think that's just throwing me off. I mean, I guess it's, oh, see, look at this, 1019. Oh. These are our mage barriers. Okay, these are our mage wall barriers. But the idea here is, because I think if you're asking Leaf, enums like, I'm using what I'm understanding to be enums by something like this, like tile size, right? Because we define tile size as 16 here, and then we can just call it tile size. So if that's what you're asking about, then it does that. Because everything is global in Love, so unless you define it local, so it defaults everything to global, so you can do stuff like that. Okay, I think we do need the particle system in the mage outside of the opening cinematic. But okay, let's just do this real quick. I just turned off what I thought to be the mage wall. I want to make sure that was correct, because I'm trying to get to the bottom of this. Like I don't think we need the I don't think we need those first two parameters. I think those aren't doing anything for us. So yeah, that was the mage wall. Okay. Oops. Cool. Okay. So this is the mage wall, but let's getting so distracted by this, but we want to go back to our mage scene just so I can test this out because it's driving me crazy. So here, yeah, if we go here, our mage wall is back. And the thing is, I want to say, instead of doing this, we would say 3 and 4. Right? We would say, oops. Because if we were to get rid of the 1019, because that's not what it is, then we need an X and Y, and we're saying, yeah, this 0 should be a 1 on the Y for the top row, or X and Y. Yeah, so this is saying it's 4 over, so this should actually be, or that should be 5, and this should be 6. Okay, so that's what we should have had for this. And that should put our mage wall where we're expecting it to be. It is not. 6 on the X. 1. Fuck, dude. Let's just see. 1, 1, and 2, 1. Let's see. This is so jacked up. Yeah. Why is it wanting to put only one thing there? Okay, if we give it 2, 2, and 2, 3, let's see what it looks like. What the f... All our other collidable map objects were able to do... Oh, well, I guess... Width and height. Collidable map objects. We put a pushable. Oh, see, that's... Oh, man. I looked at the wrong thing. Oh, man. I looked at a pushable class, not a collidable map object class. Okay. Well, shit. Okay, well, let's go back to what it was. I want to rehaul this collidable map objects class, because it just doesn't make any sense to me, and I hate that we have to do it like this. So let me just see any other instantiation of a collidable map object that does. See, look at this. Like this, when we go to insert a collidable map object for our collidable map tiles, we just give it a row and column. But this row and column... Shoot. Yeah. This is very weird. Okay, collidable map objects, just an X, or just an I and J. Okay. I'm still confused why, if we pass in only the first 2 parameters, that the X and Y is actually correct. Well, that's only if we don't pass it an X and Y. If we just pass it a row and column, then our X and Y... Yeah, dude, why? This is so weird. All right. Well, I'm going to have to rehaul this. I'm running out of steam for the night, so I think I'll call it here. But we're going to rehaul this so it makes more sense, so that we can just insert into, you know, we shouldn't have to declare which scene we're inserting a collidable map object into, because we insert it into the scene table. You know, we insert it into a 1019 here in the collidable map objects table, so it should just be a collidable map object with an X and Y width and height, as well as the potential to pass in optional parameters to shift the X and Y so that it's not directly hard-coded to tile size increments. We want to be able to shift it so we can make our beds. This is spending too much time on this, but also in terms of game development, you know, it's pretty important to be able to add collidable things like this. So if this function's all screwed up, it's just going to drive me crazy. So I do want to redo it. So I will I'll finish rehauling that tomorrow, and then hopefully we get all our beds in the inn by tomorrow. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll run credits here. We'll find someone to raid out to. Let's see. Yo, Matt Birds is on. I know he's been hanging out lately, so we'll go give him a raid. Let's say what's up. Thanks for hanging, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. We'll get some better stuff done today. It was kind of like digging around, finding some weird stuff. So there's just stuff I want to fix. So that'll be tomorrow. Thanks for watching.